What if the life you're living isn't life at all, but a meticulously crafted illusion? What if you're mistaking a highly convincing shadow for the vibrant, multi-dimensional reality that lies beyond? Understanding that what we perceive as life might actually be a cleverly disguised form of death, a limited, programmed state, is the first step towards true liberation. It's the key to breaking free from invisible chains and unlocking a life of authentic power, purpose, and limitless potential. This isn't just a philosophical exercise. This realization can fundamentally transform every facet of your existence, from the depth of your relationships to the fulfillment of your career and the very meaning you ascribe to your life. Imagine discovering untapped reservoirs of creativity, effortlessly manifesting your desires, and experiencing a profound sense of connection to something far greater than yourself. To even consider this possibility challenges everything, demanding a radical reevaluation of your most deeply held beliefs, the societal norms you've blindly accepted, the religious doctrines you've been taught, and the personal assumptions that have shaped your identity. To begin to grasp this concept, let's consider the idea of reality tunnels, the unique, subjective worlds that each of us constructs within our own minds. Drawing on the work of Robert Anton Wilson, we can see how our brains act as filters, selectively processing information and creating a personalized version of reality. What we experience is not an objective truth, but a highly curated interpretation shaped by our individual biases, beliefs, and experiences. Awakening is about recognizing this process, about piercing through the veil of our own mental constructs to glimpse the underlying reality. Techniques like mindfulness and meditation become invaluable tools, helping us cultivate awareness and observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, creating space for a deeper understanding to emerge. We'll be threading together seemingly disparate fields of knowledge. The mind-bending implications of quantum physics, the tantalizing possibility of simulation theory, and the timeless wisdom of ancient spiritual philosophies. Consider, for instance, the observer effect in quantum physics, where the very act of observation alters the behavior of subatomic particles, suggesting that consciousness plays a fundamental role in shaping reality. We are, in a sense, always dreaming, creating, and being confined to a personal reality that we can't see beyond. Think of it as being asleep at the wheel, navigating life on autopilot, unaware of the true potential that lies dormant within you. But if this is a form of death, what then is true life? What lies beyond the confines of this perceived reality? Is there a source code to this simulation, a set of rules or principles that we can learn to manipulate, and in doing so, step outside the limits of our perceived experience? Can we truly transcend this illusion and access a higher state of being? And perhaps the most unsettling question of all, is there a they, a hidden force or group that benefits from keeping us in this dead state, subtly influencing our perceptions and limiting our potential? In the coming minutes, we'll explore practical exercises and powerful techniques that you can use right now to begin experiencing moments of awakening, to question the very fabric of your reality, and to shift your perception from one of limitation to one of infinite possibility. Let's tunnel further into this rabbit hole. If we are to accept that what we perceive as life is a filtered version of reality, we must ask ourselves just how deep this filtering goes. It is a well-known scientific fact that what humans can perceive is incredibly small. Our eyes, for example, only detect a narrow band of the electromagnetic spectrum, a tiny sliver of all that is actually there. But consider beyond sight the limitations of our other senses. Our ears can only register sound waves within a specific frequency range, missing a vast symphony of vibrations occurring all around us. Dogs and bats, for example, operate on sound frequencies we cannot begin to imagine. Our sense of smell is similarly restricted, unable to detect the complex chemical tapestries that other animals navigate with ease. Even our sense of touch is limited by the density of our nerve endings, and their ability to distinguish minute variations in texture and temperature. We are immersed in a sensory deprivation chamber of our own making. But the limitations don't end with the hardware, so to speak. The brain itself actively filters and interprets the sensory information it receives, constructing a model of reality rather than passively recording it. This brings us to the philosophical concept of qualia, the subjective, qualitative experiences that make up our conscious awareness. What does the color red feel like to you? What is the essence of a musical note? These experiences are unique to each individual, shaped by their personal history and neural architecture. Your red is not my red, so to speak. This suggests that our perception of reality is not only limited, but also inherently subjective and potentially distorting, which makes any objective measure all the more difficult to rely on. Consider the concept of cognitive biases, systematic patterns of deviation from norm or rationality in judgment. These biases are like pre-installed software that skews our perception and decision-making. For instance, the availability heuristic leads us to overestimate the importance of information that is readily available to us, such as recent news events, while ignoring less accessible but potentially more relevant data. The anchoring bias causes us to rely too heavily on the first piece of information we receive, even if it's arbitrary or irrelevant, using it as a reference point for subsequent judgments. And confirmation bias drives us to seek out information that confirms our existing beliefs while ignoring or dismissing contradictory evidence. If you believe climate change isn't real, your perception of research papers, news reports, and environmental events will change. These biases act as filters, subtly warping our perception of reality and reinforcing our existing beliefs, further trapping us within our individual reality tunnels. To illustrate the illusion reality pattern, consider our everyday experience of solidity. We perceive objects as being solid and continuous, but at the quantum level, matter is mostly empty space. Atoms, the building blocks of matter, are themselves composed of tiny particles separated by vast distances. If we were to scale up an atom to the size of a football stadium, the nucleus would be a pea on the 50-yard line, and the electrons would be specks of dust orbiting in the upper stands. The rest is empty space. What we perceive as solid is actually a shimmering illusion, a dance of energy and probability in a vast, empty void. Are you starting to feel as though what is real isn't really real after all? Building on this notion of a filtered reality, let's explore the idea of the programmed mind. From our earliest years, we're subjected to a constant barrage of information and influences that shape our beliefs, values, and behaviors. This societal programming comes in many forms, from the overt messaging of media and advertising to the more subtle conditioning of education and cultural norms. Consider, for example, how the media often presents a distorted view of reality, focusing on sensationalism and negativity while downplaying positive developments. This can create a sense of fear and anxiety, making us more susceptible to manipulation and control. The constant stream of advertising bombards us with messages that equate happiness with material possessions, fueling consumerism and distracting us from our true desires. The concept of manufactured consent, as articulated by Edward Herman and Noam Chomsky, highlights how the media can be used to manipulate public opinion and create support for policies that benefit powerful elites. By carefully selecting and framing information, the media can shape our perceptions of events and influence our attitudes towards political issues. Similarly, the education system often reinforces societal norms and values, teaching us to conform to authority and accept the status quo. Critical thinking and independent inquiry are often discouraged, replaced by rote memorization and standardized testing. Is what you know really true, or just what you've been told? Cultural norms and traditions also play a significant role in shaping our beliefs and behaviors. These norms, often passed down through generations, define what is considered acceptable or unacceptable within a particular society. They dictate our dress code, our eating habits, our relationship patterns, and countless other aspects of our lives. The concept of memes, as popularized by Richard Dawkins, provides a useful framework for understanding how cultural ideas spread and replicate. Memes are like cultural genes, self-replicating units of information that propagate through a population, influencing our thoughts and behaviors. Think of catchy jingles, fashion trends, or political slogans. They can be helpful or harmful, beneficial to some and destructive to others. The control-freedom pattern becomes clear when we contrast this external programming with the potential for self-determination. Are we merely puppets dancing to the tune of societal forces, or do we have the capacity to break free from these invisible chains and chart our own course? One of the most insidious forms of programming is confirmation bias, which reinforces existing beliefs, making it difficult to break free. If you believe a certain political party is inherently evil, you will actively seek out information that confirms this belief while ignoring any evidence to the contrary. Similarly, if you believe you are not good enough or capable enough, you will unconsciously sabotage your own efforts to succeed. This bias creates a self-fulfilling prophecy, trapping us within limiting beliefs and preventing us from realizing our full potential. So how do we begin to dismantle this programming and reclaim our minds? Mindfulness and self-awareness are key. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. By cultivating awareness of our thoughts and emotions, we can begin to see them as passing phenomena rather than fixed realities. Meditation is a powerful tool for developing mindfulness, allowing us to quiet the mind and observe our thoughts from a detached perspective. The benefits of mindfulness are well documented, including reduced stress, improved focus, and increased emotional regulation. But perhaps its greatest benefit is the ability to see through the illusion of the programmed mind and connect with our true nature. Let's try a brief mindfulness exercise. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so, and take a few deep breaths. Notice the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. Now observe your thoughts. Don't try to control them or judge them. Simply watch them as they arise and pass away like clouds in the sky. You may find that your mind is full of thoughts, or you may experience moments of stillness. Whatever arises is okay. Just keep observing. Do this for a minute or two. Mindfulness, in this context, can be related to the sleep awakening pattern. It's a way to wake up from the automaticity of daily life, from the endless cycle of thoughts, emotions, and conditioned behaviors that keep us trapped in a state of unconsciousness. It allows us to see the world with fresh eyes, unclouded by the filters of our past experiences and programmed beliefs. As we cultivate mindfulness, we begin to connect with the observer self, the silent witness that exists beyond our thoughts and emotions. This is the part of us that is always present, always aware, unaffected by the ups and downs of daily life. It is the key to unlocking our true potential and experiencing true freedom. However, the path to mindfulness is not without its challenges. One of the biggest difficulties is the tendency of the mind to wander. Thoughts, emotions, and sensations constantly vie for our attention, pulling us away from the present moment. Another challenge is dealing with difficult emotions. As we become more aware of our inner world, we may encounter painful feelings that we have been avoiding for years. The solution is not to suppress these emotions, but to acknowledge them and allow them to pass through us without judgment. With practice, we can learn to navigate these challenges and cultivate a deeper sense of inner peace and clarity. Now, let's bridge the gap between these concepts and the seemingly disparate worlds of quantum physics and simulation theory. The observer effect in quantum physics demonstrates that the act of observation influences the behavior of subatomic particles. This suggests that consciousness plays a fundamental role in shaping reality, that reality is not a fixed and objective entity, but rather a fluid and dynamic process that is influenced by our awareness. Quantum entanglement and non-locality further challenge our understanding of space and time, suggesting that particles can be instantaneously connected across vast distances, seemingly defying the laws of physics. Building on these mind-bending concepts, the simulation hypothesis proposes that our reality is a simulated construct, a highly advanced computer program that creates the illusion of a physical world. While this idea may seem far-fetched, it is gaining traction among scientists and philosophers who argue that it is impossible to disprove. 3 points in favor of simulation theory include the computational resources we have. The ability to simulate entire universes will exist within our lifetime, and the very fact that our understanding of reality is incomplete suggests that it could be a simulation. 3 points against include the infinite computing power required to simulate consciousness, the potential for paradoxes and glitches in the simulation, and the lack of empirical evidence to support the hypothesis. Is it possible that the computer program can't simulate itself, and our limited knowledge is the result of that limitation? These ideas might seem crazy, but they all start to coalesce into a central idea. The idea that our reality is a limited construct, a carefully crafted illusion that is shaped by our perceptions, our beliefs, and perhaps even external forces. This leads us to the concept of glitches in the matrix, anomalous experiences that hint at a deeper reality. These glitches can take many forms, from déjà vu and synchronicities to unexplained phenomena and impossible events. Perhaps you've experienced a moment where time seemed to slow down, or you saw something that defied explanation. These moments, however fleeting, can serve as wake-up calls, reminding us that there may be more to reality than meets the eye. They poke at the edges of what we accept as normal. Isn't it time we explore that more? So, where does this leave us, now that we've journeyed through the labyrinth of perception, programming, and potential realities? Remember that initial provocative question: is what we perceive as life truly life at all? The primary revelation, as we've uncovered, is that this dead state isn't a literal death, but rather a state of unawareness, a reality carefully programmed, or a perception fundamentally limited by its own nature. It is the matrix we are born into and trained by. Let's complete the illusion reality pattern. Our senses, as we've seen, are like narrow filters, selectively allowing only a fraction of the vast spectrum of reality to reach our awareness. Our cognitive biases further distort this filtered input, creating a subjective and often inaccurate picture of the world. Remember the example of solidity. What feels like an unyielding surface is at the quantum level mostly empty space, a dynamic dance of energy and probability. Add to this the societal programming we're subjected to from birth, the constant stream of media messages, cultural norms, and educational conditioning. All carefully sculpt our beliefs and behaviors. Now, let's resolve the control-freedom pattern. External forces, be they societal structures, manipulative media, or even unseen entities, may attempt to control our perception, to keep us tethered to this limited reality. However, the key is that ultimately, the power to break free resides within each of us. Self-awareness, conscious choice, and a willingness to question everything are the tools we need to dismantle this programming and reclaim our minds. This isn't about fighting against the system, it's about transcending it. And finally, to complete the sleep awakening pattern, remember that we're not just talking about physical wakefulness, but about awakening from a dream, a collective dream woven from illusions and limiting beliefs. Mindfulness and introspection become the keys to true wakefulness, to seeing the world with fresh eyes, unclouded by the filters of our past experiences and preconceived notions. The observer self becomes our anchor point, that silent witness that is always present, always aware, beyond the ebb and flow of thoughts and emotions. The understanding is that it's a single expression of consciousness, and not the complete totality of it. However, it's vitally important to recognize that this awakening doesn't negate the validity of our current, physical, and tangible realities. It's not about escaping this world, but about fully experiencing it with open eyes and a liberated mind. It is not about denying the simulation, but realizing why you're choosing to play. Taking responsibility for our perceptions connects us to a larger shift in consciousness occurring on the planet. This isn't just about individual enlightenment. It's about a collective awakening, a transition from a world of fear and division to one of love, understanding, and collaboration. By recognizing the illusion, we can transform our relationships, fostering empathy and compassion for others, even those whose beliefs differ from our own. Imagine understanding that someone's anger is not a personal attack, but a manifestation of their own internal struggles, their own limited perception of reality. This transforms judgment into compassion. Recognizing the illusion can revolutionize our careers, aligning our actions with our true values and passions. No longer driven by external pressures or societal expectations, we can pursue work that is meaningful and fulfilling, contributing our unique talents to the world. We can move away from a paycheck-driven existence to a purpose-driven life, a life filled with passion and joy. And ultimately, recognizing the illusion transforms our sense of purpose, allowing us to discover our unique potential and contribute to something greater than ourselves. We begin to see ourselves not as isolated individuals, but as interconnected parts of a larger whole, each playing a vital role in the unfolding of creation. Examples of belief structures of control fear, scarcity, competition are replaced with knowledge structures of creation, love, abundance, collaboration. Each individual's decision to embrace responsibility shifts the collective experience into a positive direction. This is the transformation of understanding from victim to conscious creator. So let's revisit that initial tension. If what we perceive as life is a form of death, then what is true life? True life, as we now understand it, is full awareness, conscious creation, and the joyful expression of our unique potential. It is not about escaping reality, but about fully embracing it with open eyes and a liberated mind. It's about choosing your game and playing it with intention. Awakening is not a destination, but a continuous process of self-discovery and growth, a lifelong journey of peeling back the layers of illusion and connecting with our true nature. And remember, the simulation itself isn't inherently negative. It's a construct, a playground for consciousness, a tool for experiencing the self in countless ways. The path is unique for each individual. There is no one-size-fits-all solution, no guru who holds all the answers. The map is personal. The question, is there a source code, is ultimately reframed as you are the source code. Embrace your power, trust your intuition, and create your own reality. Conscious awareness and introspection techniques are the key tools for navigating the illusion and shaping your reality. Now, what new realities can we create once we fully awaken? That's a question for another time, but consider this. The power of collective consciousness and its potential to shape global events is immense and largely untapped. What happens when a critical mass of individuals awaken from the dream and begin to consciously create a new reality together? The possibilities are endless. I encourage you to share your own experiences and insights in the comments section below. What glitches in the matrix have you experienced? What techniques have you found most helpful in navigating the illusion? In future videos, we'll explore more advanced meditation techniques, delve deeper into the nature of consciousness, and examine practical tools for manifestation. Until then, continue practicing mindfulness, questioning your beliefs, and taking conscious action in your lives. Remember, you are not a passive victim of reality, but an active creator, a powerful being with the potential to shape your own destiny and the destiny of the world. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery. If this resonated with you, please subscribe for more content like this. Also, be sure to check out our other videos and resources available on the channel. Your support helps us create more content designed to help you on your journey.